What's up, guys? It's QahirTheConqueror here. Welcome back to my channel for yet another video. In this video, I'm going to teach you about the best teacher in all of existence, or one of the best teachers. I'm going to teach you about one of the best teachers for anybody, no matter your age, sexual orientation, height. The best teacher, or one of the best teachers of all time, is failure. Huh? Well, let me explain. See, I'm going to talk about myself first. Truthfully speaking, for the most part, I really never learned that much when I won at things, when I succeeded at things, when things went according to plan, when things went as intended, when things went well. It might have felt good. It might have been the expectation. It might have validated internal beliefs or external beliefs. But did I really learn the most, or did I take the most away from the wins? Not really. So in my opinion, from my perspective, failure taught me the most, because when things don't go according to plan, when things don't go as intended, when things don't go as expected, the question is, the $1 million question, now what are you going to do? Oh, so it didn't go well. Okay, now what's your plan? Oh, some people might have a hell of a good singular plan. If that plan goes wrong, then what? That's what I mean when I talk about how failure can be one of the best teachers. See, in life, we are going to fail. It's inevitable. So before I even really get deep into the topic, I just want to clarify some misconceptions about failure and why it should not be looked at as the worst thing in the world. Failure is inevitable because we are imperfect beings. We're not perfect. We are going to what? We're going to make mistakes. Male, female, whatever else there is. You're going to make a mistake. You're not going to have every solution, every answer. And even if you do, if you're that quick and witty, they may not always work. You have to adjust. You have to pivot. And we have associated for too long a negative connotation with failure. See, I want to give one of the easiest examples and talk about failure in terms of academic approach. You should care. Whatever level of competence or comprehension you have, no matter how academically sound you are or aren't, we should care about our grades, because you don't want to just be, no offense, an imbecile. You don't want to go about the world just completely ignorant, because ignorance is bliss, but knowledge is power, and what you don't know can hurt you. When you go to class each and every day, and if you are attentive in class each and every day, you have some level of engagement, you at least do the bare minimum of doing homework, assignments, and things like that, classwork, and as I said, you showed up, that's about 50 to 70% depending on the level of rigor in that specific class, course, etc. And let's say a test is coming up at the end of the week, and you, as I mentioned, have gone to class, you've engaged, you've done the work, you have at least some idea of what might be expected on the test, what it might look like, what it might cover. Or if you don't, the teacher or professor will usually tell you in most cases. So with this example, if you put forth even the minimum effort, 50 to 70%, you can get a passing grade just because you showed up. Now, where am I going with this? let's say you don't get a passing grade, and you're one of those people who cares about your grade, because some people don't. If you fail and you care, what are you going to do next? We're going back to that question. Now, what are you going to do? You're probably going to figure out how not to let that happen again. You're probably going to check and figure out maybe what questions you got wrong. Talk to your teacher, professor, whoever they are, and figure out maybe what they might have been looking for. If you got a grade that you weren't expecting, you might go adjust to your studying strategy. You might adjust to how much you engage in class. You might come to class a few minutes earlier. You might stay later. That's the point. Failure in that situation teaches us how to dig deep, how to think ourselves out of situations that may be unfavorable. It shouldn't be favorable for anybody to make a mistake, but that's a part of being human. So once you make the mistake, are you going to continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over and over and over again? If somebody keeps hitting you upside the head, eventually you're going to block it or duck or something. You're not going to keep getting hit in the head. And that's why failure is a good thing in many cases. Let me give you an example for the animal kingdom. Failure, usually in the animal kingdom, is death. You die. You get eaten by something that needs to eat you to live. You need to get away to live. When gazelles, for instance, or anything that's in that family, when they get eaten because they're too slow, the faster animals survive and then mate, and then they produce faster offspring, and then over time they get faster and faster and faster. They evolve and they learn, if you're slow, he gonna get eaten, she gonna get eaten. Got to be faster than them. See, in the animal kingdom, you just have to be faster than the slowest person. So with that being said, as humans, we're going to make mistakes too, but fortunately for us, we aren't always expecting the worst outcome when we fail. We're not expecting death or fatalities or destruction when we make a mistake or when something doesn't go according to plan. You can think yourself out of any situation. You can. You just have to, first of all, analyze and self-assess when you do fail or make mistakes. The best thing that I've ever heard, one of the best things that I've ever heard that helped me be a little more patient with myself and be a little more graceful and forgiving, because if you're like me, I'm one of those people who I am very self-critical and very hard on myself. But I've heard people say, influential people, you need to fail forward. And I was like, whoa, what does that mean? Fail forward. You should fail at things, because it means what? It means you're doing what you're supposed to do as a human. You're trying, you're living with purpose and not just in your comfort zone. And your comfort zone can kill you. You make mistakes. You learn from those mistakes. You learn not to make those mistakes again. That's why failure can be one of the greatest teachers ever. Failure teaches us when we're babies. And failure is just a loose term, making mistakes. When you're 2 and you don't have fine motor skills to do stuff, you drop your milk and it spills everywhere. The baby's gonna get upset. Why? Because made a mistake, spilled all the juice. So guess what? We're smart at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. We're gonna learn not to drop that cup. So it's the same thing in life. When we are trying, we're putting ourselves out there, we're exposing ourselves to the unknown. Mistakes might happen. You might make a mistake. It doesn't mean beat yourself up and cry about it and be down bad. It just means maybe you need to take a different approach. Maybe you need to fail in this instance so you can be redirected to something that's better for you. Basically, my greatest lessons didn't come when I won. They didn't come when I succeeded or when everything went according to plan. If you have even a minimal amount of self-confidence and self-assurance, you want to win, you want to succeed, you want to do good, you want people to think highly of you and to make other people look good, make yourselves look good, make ourselves look good. But that doesn't always happen. So if you are trying and you make a mistake, just figure out a different approach and learn from it. The purpose of life is one of the purposes of life is to not make the same mistakes over and over and over and over and over again. So if you're like me and you're human and you're normal and you're making mistakes, I commend you because you're trying. Now, some mistakes can be worse than others, so hopefully you're making calculated mistakes that potentially won't ruin your life or somebody else's life. But just don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid for something to not go according to plan, because that fear over what if, that fear over we don't even know, we just made something up in our head, because that's how powerful that mind works. When you think about fear, don't be afraid. Fear isn't necessarily even real at times. We just create scenarios. So just try and learn from your mistakes. Be like me. I failed a lot. I have done a lot of mistake making, but those mistakes have helped me and shaped me and defined me into this version of myself now, and the version of myself that I likely will hopefully become in the future. And that well-rounded person didn't grow in the moments of my joy and comfort and pleasure. Oftentimes, the moments that I might not speak about, the moments that people don't see, the dark times, the dark moments, the moments of discomfort, the moments of pain, the moments where adversity had me second guessing things, that is when I grew the most. That is what taught me the most in many cases. So I encourage you and anyone else to fail. Try things, because you're doing what you're supposed to do. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, comment, or subscribe. Stay tuned. See you for the next one.